Welcome to the 98% podcast where we hear real stories from real people. And I'm here with Joe again. So he's coming back for a special kind of episode, kind of the new direction we're going with some of this stuff called Welcome to the Hot Seat. So how that works for y'all out there, if this is your first episode, I create 4 questions for Joe. Joe creates 4 questions for me. And yeah, we basically put each other on the spot trying to answer these questions. So Joe, you want to tell us briefly a little bit about you before we get started?
For sure. My name is Joe Lendway. I recently played college basketball back in the day. Looking at the time now, it was a little longer than I thought. I'm a pipe fitter and I do security and I model. So kind of do a little bit of everything. And yeah, that's me.
Sweet. Okay, you ready for this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how I like to do these is I like to do my 4 questions based around themes. So basically themes that I know about you, and yeah, so we'll roll into it. So the first theme is built around jujitsu. Okay, so the question is, what has jujitsu taught you about handling pressure on and off the mat, and how has that shaped how you approach conflict or challenge?
That's a great question. Um, so definitely off the mat, it humbles you because, there's a lot of people in the gym that look, you know, they don't look like an ideal threat, I guess you could say, and they
Hmm.
are just they'll choke you out in a second. It's insane. So with that knowledge and skill set, and let's move into security, it makes me like, I'm not saying I know a lot of stuff, but I keep that in the back of my mind. But also there's other people out there that could could be a Muay Thai fighter and you had no idea. And they just
Hmm.
look like an accountant at a bank. And they're just, um I would say it's definitely helped just like not everything's a fight. I mean, I'm not that person as it is. Like if it
Hmm.
got to that point, it can be. But normally all that people is talking, all that really calms you down because realistically, if you want to put somebody in a chokehold, you probably could. And 9 times out of 10, they might not know how to get out of it or they'll just pass out. So it kind of helps.
Sweet.
And there's not a lot of places where I guess we'll say men can like really be not aggressive, but like be able to not lash out, but get some stuff off their chest or
Uh,
they had a tough time at work and their boss was, you know, saying some crazy stuff and they just think about it as they're choking somebody out. It's like there's a lot of dads in there, man. So it's like dad strength's a real thing for sure.
yeah. Dude, I like that. And it's funny because we need that. Men need that big time. We need like that
Yeah.
sense of challenge. We need that competition. We need that physical aspect. So I liked your answer to
And
that. That's pretty good.
you can't go to jail for it. That's like you can't just
Yeah.
walk in the street and be like, "Hey, dude," and just deck somebody or choke somebody out legally. So
No, yeah, you can't.
and it's it sounds crazy, but it's pain or just feeling being like choked out or being in those stressful situations. Everything else in the outside world is like basically kind of it's not really that big of a deal. It, I'm more worried about somebody choking me out, putting all their weight on me than some minor little thing that happened at the grocery store kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
it's so true. Yeah. Weed. Okay, I like that. Okay, what's your first question for me?
when I asked that one, I gotta switch my order up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, um, kind of knowing you and your new adventures with the strongman competitions or those competitions you've been doing recently.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna ask like what was your turning point? Because I know trying new things is very hard and just like throwing yourself out there and just competing. Because last time I talked to you, you didn't really train a whole lot for it, but you killed the competition. So I was just kind of figuring out like was there a moment where you just like I'm gonna go try this. Who cares if I suck at it? I'm just gonna wing it.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude, so ever since my divorce, so it's been like 4 years now, I try everything, like anything and everything for the most part, just because, I mean, what do I have to
Um,
lose? So,
that's a great mindset.
yeah. So when it came to that, is that I wasn't even looking for it. So I was at the Renaissance Festival of all places, and my my with my family, and they were doing the Highland games, like version of it, essentially like the Scottish games, because like my parents are, Irish Scottish, so they're like, we always go to this one every year. And I noticed that they were doing some stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, that seems fun. I was like, I would like to try that. So yeah, we decided to go throw stones the first time. This was actually over a year ago. Me and my dad went in through stones without any experience at all, and yeah, we did okay. And then so the next year, I was like, I'm going to train for the next one, and this was this past year. So showed up, and it's funny because I showed up late. That's the best part of the whole story. Is I so so I what happened is it rained. It was raining like crazy, and I got all dressed up and looked really cool that year because I was like, I just want to dress up and look the part too. And it rained, and we showed up like 20 minutes early, and nobody was there. I was like, oh dang, it just rained out, and I'm not going to be able to do this. And I've been wanting to do this all year. And then yeah, what ended up happening is we left to go eat, and then it was like, let's just go walk by and check in. And sure enough, they were already doing it, and I was like, oh snap. So I walked up to the person who was running it. I was like, hey, can I get in and compete? And they're like, no, sorry, we don't have any more whatever, any more sheets to
Slots.
sign or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and waivers. So no more waivers. Like, oh, dang it. I was like, you sure? Are you positive? And they're like, yeah, sorry, man. And what saved me is there was someone in line that was in line that didn't sign a waiver. So like, you signed your waiver, right? And this guy's like, no, I didn't sign a waiver. Oh, well, get this guy a waiver. And he's like, are we doing that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay. And then he looked at me and was like, I guess, do you want to do it too? And I was like, yes, I do. So I show up, and I'm like the last person to throw. I show up and I throw the stone and I win. I win the competition. It was awesome. So so so
That's one way to do it, man.
that's what happened. So I won it. And then the second place guy was super super cool dude. His name was Chip. And I just remember him being like, man, I had it until you showed up, and he shook my hand. We shook hands, and that was kind of it. And then a few months later, he responded to some post, and I responded to it on social media. It's like, hey, you competed at the thing, right? He's like, yeah, yeah, I did. And we started just kind of chatting back and forth. And then he's like, dude, you should try actually doing the Highland Games. And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, what does that consist of? And he was telling me some stuff. And I was like, well, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we basically just exchanged there. So like he got me into the Highland Games, and I got him on the podcast. And then, dude,
Networking.
ever since I've been doing it. So and he's close friend of us. We got like a group of 4 or 5 of us that kind of have been going back and forth. So I've done 3 games so far. I got a fourth one in July coming up. But dude, yeah, it's just been fun. It like happened, like I said, by happenstance. Wasn't trying for it. Just kind of like through, and someone was like, "You up for it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd like to do it. I'd like to compete. It's been a while." And
Awesome.
um, yeah, I did okay at heavyweight, not super great, but for my first games, I did good. But yeah, I dropped down to lightweight, so I made sure I made it under 200 pounds for this last one. I got first place, and I felt pretty darn good about it.
200 pounds is heavyweight.
Over 200 pounds is heavyweight. Under 200 pounds is lightweight. They only have 2 weight classes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm in a different category. That's the key.
No. So you'd be heavyweight. So,
Typical.
but what's funny is I went from being like the smallest guy to the biggest guy just from switching weight classes. So that was kind of
Hmm.
nice.
That's another thing about jujitsu is just like you don't think weight class changes things, but it is way different for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like jujitsu, in my opinion, when I did jujitsu, I felt like weight wasn't as big of a deal until you get to like really big people. Like I remember rolling with some people that were like 260, 280, and that sucks. Really
Yeah,
second that
yeah,
big. But I noticed that there was kind of like some of the smaller guys, or some of the, like I felt like there's a good 20 pounds in either direction wasn't so bad. But when you started getting really big, yeah, it was wild.
yeah, yeah. And those are my favorites. Just some big guys. It's two bears wrestling over salmon, and if somebody gets dropped on the mat, everyone in the gym's gonna feel. It. Everyone's gonna jump up.
Yeah, dude. And you did some jujitsu competitions too. See, I never did competitions. I just did open rolling is all I ever did. So I never did any competitions in it. But yeah.
Yeah, that was my first gi jujitsu tournament. So it was good.
Do you prefer gi or no gi?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, if I want to learn more like skills and all that, for sure, gi, because
Okay.
it's I think I'm totally fine in shorts and a t-shirt, but I live in Minnesota. I wear a jacket, 6 months out of the year. If someone knows how to choke me out with my own strings on my jacket, or just
Hmm.
no way. So I need to get more into gi, and a
Hmm.
lot of people in my gym like rolling with me in gi because you can control a limb just by grabbing the fabric and center of the elbow. And I'm
Got
sitting
it.
there trying to grab you and I can't. It's just different
Uh,
skill for sure.
for sure. Yeah. I never did. Well, I did do gi at first, but I always preferred no gi personally.
Yeah.
But for the exact reason that you said you prefer it is why I did not prefer it. So,
Yeah. And I mean it's great when you roll with old guys that like that's what old guys do because they're not as young and fit anymore, but they are very technical and they can control your limbs and it's a whole thing.
yep. Okay. Right on. Okay. Here's my next question for you. So this one is around goals and achievements. So, which achievement are you most proud of? Not because it was impressive, but because of who you had to become to reach it.
Great question. Great. I would say my greatest accomplishment like that would probably be when I packed up my stuff from Kansas and moved to California. Just kind of, I didn't have anything going for me in Kansas. Told my mom like, hey, I think I'm gonna go to California, and I went. That was a life-changing experience for sure. Out there in California, working a lot, being on my own. I mean, I went to school out in Alaska, so that was one of the reasons why I went there is to, learn life, figure out how things work, how to make a grocery list, just a bunch of stuff that like my parents did or my mom did all the time. I just want to learn how to do it by myself and learned a lot of the wrong ways, but now I know like the right ways of doing things, which that's how I learned.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, definitely that one. I would
So,
say
why'd you
that,
move?
and then go ahead.
I was gonna say, so why'd you move to California? Why'd you choose there?
I actually had a buddy out there that he had a spot in his house and he could give me a job. I just had to show up,
Huh,
and I told him like
got it.
if I say yes, I'm coming. I packed up my truck, drove there. My mom came with me, and then I moved back after like a year and a few months. So it was a good experience for sure.
Nice.
Gas prices out there during COVID was not fun at all.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah. And I had a big truck and it was bad. Was it? That's not the state for big trucks at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And you were gonna say something else. So, where were you gonna go with that before I cut you off?
What did I say? Alaska? I don't know. What was I don't remember what I said.
Think you were
What was that?
segueing into another story.
Mm, yeah, I slipped my mind.
Okay.
Slipped my
Sweet.
mind.
When you find it, just bring it up abruptly.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
My question?
Hmm.
Okay. If you could pick up another skill, whether it be a language or like I don't know, like say welding or just a skill or an asset, what would you choose and why?
Ooh, if I could pick another skill. That's a good one because I feel like most of the skills I've wanted to attain, I've tried to attain because that's kind of how I operate. I operate from like this, I don't know, I guess from this place of passion sometimes where it's like, oh, I'm excited. I want to try that. So it's like I go in head first, maybe a little too obsessive about it. Um, so that's a good question. I'm trying to think. So what have I not done that I should do with skill wise? Okay, so I think I would actually like to get more skilled with a gun, I'd say. So I know
Great,
how to shoot a
great
gun.
skill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I shoot handgun from time to time and I do different things like that, but it's like I've seen and I have buddies who are like extremely skilled at it, and I just don't put the time in it. And that would actually be a skill I think that would be really, really neat is to get, because I think like what's popping in my head is like John Wick, like thinking about like being that good. Yeah, just being able to shoot around, also do martial arts while you're
Yep, yep,
doing
yep.
it, reload real quick. And I'm thinking like that would be a sick skill. And I know that takes a lot of time. So if I wanted to sharpen that skill, I would just need to make time uh and invest in it. But yeah, I think that's definitely a skill that I could definitely invest in.
Well, I'll tell you this, if you ever want to do a tactical training course or something like that, I would be down.
Yeah.
For sure, I'd be down. Oh yeah. They at my gym they did a weapons and knife training kind of course. I didn't go, but a lot of people showed out and it was on a jujitsu mat, but it was pretty realistic. They had fake guns with lasers and all that, and it's a great skill to know because you never know. You
Exactly.
never know.
It's one of those things you'd rather have it and never use it, right? Than to not have it and end up having to use it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Dig it.
I was gonna say I remembered. I traveled by myself. Like I traveled to a different. I went to Puerto Rico by myself, so it was like that was a big thing for me. Big accomplishment for sure. Going
Yeah.
to a different place.
What was that experience like?
Well, the fact that I'm a 6'7", 300-pound Puerto Rican and I don't speak Spanish very well, it was an interesting trip to say the least.
Yeah.
Every everything I had booked to like all my excursions got canceled because of my height and weight. So it was a great trip. I just ended up going to like a lot of local places, not knowing a lot of Spanish, and just eating a bunch of food and hanging out. So it was a great trip. Definitely needed, but I wish I could have done a lot of those things. But God willing.
Still sounds like a okay time.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. I just
Good, good.
I was gonna go skydiving. I was gonna jump out 18,000 feet. 4 days before my trip, I sent him an email. I basically gave him my credentials, like, hey, just let you know I'm 6'7", like 300 pounds, 295. Hopefully that's not an issue. 10 minutes later, I get a refund on my credit card. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an issue.
Yeah, you could just email me, call me fat, and call it a day.
Dang it. Yeah, that's the first thing I look up because I was looking up skydiving. I haven't went yet, but I've been wanting to go. And the first thing I looked up was like, what is the maximum weight? And yeah, some of them aren't that heavy. Some of them are like 250.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they have parachutes to bring down jeeps and stuff. So like, can we just get another parachute?
You guys have any Jeep parachutes?
Right, exactly, exactly.
Sweet. Uh, okay. So this question is around humor because I know you're a funny guy. I always remember that. So
Good.
do you use humor more to connect, to deflect, or to process? And how do you know which you're doing which?
Mm, that's a great question. Um, depending on the situation, I
Hmm.
do laugh because it's like, haha. But normally I can read what's going on, and
Yeah.
it just comes out. But definitely connecting with people because
Okay.
you make someone laugh like first time, like breaks the ice. It's more of a, okay, I can talk to that person. He's not scary. I can talk to him. It's
Hmm.
you can make if you can make somebody laugh, you can make a friend for sure. I would say modeling and security for sure. That joking and having fun has come a long way or helped me network with people.
Hmm.
There's also a time and place for it too, and I've learned that growing up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my fair shares that were used to work, so I mean, I learned a lot.
Yeah, I used to have the same issue. Like there's points where I take it too far and I didn't quite know the balance when I was younger. I remember being in like my low 20s and I remember like making people upset and being like I'm confused about why you're so upset right now. Like wasn't it okay to joke? And I
Is it
realized
not
like,
funny?
"Oh, I've taken it way too far."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a line there that you never see, but there's a line. There's a
Yeah,
line.
yeah. When you get older, you get wiser. So it's like I pay attention to the cues now and I'm not as careless with it. But yeah, there's definitely times I remember explicitly where I was like, yeah, like teasing, and then all of a sudden it like turned into an outburst where I'm just like, whoa,
Hmm.
sorry?
Yeah, you didn't think that was funny?
Yeah, you think that was funny? Yep, yep. Those are good times.
That was a great time. And that's the thing, though. You still remember them because they're that
Yeah,
memorable. It was funny.
yep. Uh,
Um, okay. If you could speak to any species of animal, what would it be and why?
if I could speak to any species. Hmm.
I had a buddy that he owns a business, and this is one of his interview questions.
Okay. So speak or to understand.
So like you can communicate.
Okay, okay.
Like
Just making sure. Okay.
what's her name? Not the Thornberries. I don't know if you ever watched that cartoon. That girl
No, but
that
I know
could
what it
talk
is.
to yeah, the girl that could talk to safari animals and they could understand her, like that scenario.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what I was curious about. If I could also understand. Okay. Communicate.
Dr.
Let's see.
Doolittle, Ricky. That's what it is.
Dr. Doolittle. Okay. One species. Okay, I have two answers. I'd say one answer is and when we species doing like a specific, it's like if I was to say birds, does that count or do I need to be more specific?
This is your podcast, but I would just say you can be a little more specific if you want.
Okay, there you go.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that I see where we're going. I see where we're going.
Okay. So okay, then I'd say maybe a falcon or an eagle, if I'm being specific. Reason being is I would like to know their perspective because obviously they fly around, they do lots of things, they're kind of aerial predators, and just be kind of curious to communicate and just kind of know where it's coming from. But also, it'd be pretty cool to actually communicate, like, hey, I need you to go send some letters or I need you to go do some stuff to these people. Can you do that? Yeah, I can do that. And I'd be like, sweet. That would be cool. But my other answer would be like either a cat or a dog because that's the one I would run into the most, probably. So it'd be helpful to be able to communicate with those just to know kind of what's going on.
Right. Oh yeah. That that's kind of how I answered it. I chose pigeons just because there's so many of them, and like you want to find out something like they've probably seen it, heard it, know it, and hey, 50 birds go poop on somebody, whatever.
I mean, that's true. I just, when I see a pigeon, I don't think very intelligent. So I get a
Intelligent.
little, so I'm like, can we communicate? I just picture like, hold on. No, no, no. That's not what I said. I said this.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
And they're just walking around with the whole bobbing their head
Yeah,
thing.
I'd like to think pigeons have some intelligence, but you're right. Maybe I'll change that answer.
Nah. Yeah, I think way too thoroughly into these things.
And that's why I asked you
Uh,
that question. I'm like, Ricky
I
would
like
give a
it.
great answer. But birds for sure. Like that was a huge thing. Just like you said, seeing their perspective because we're tall guys, so it's already a different view for us, but I can't
Mhm.
imagine someone that sees the top of my head every day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've always liked the thought of flying. I'd say if I had like a superpower of some type, it'd be flight. And since I can't fly, it's like it'd be cool to, I don't know, I guess just experience it through another
So erase
critter.
that question. No, I'm kidding. No, no,
Nice.
no.
Okay. Are we on the last questions already?
Yeah,
We are.
yeah.
Question four. Okay. This one's about relationships.
Oh God.
Okay. Okay. So, what's something you've learned about love and connection that no one prepared you for, but now feels foundational?
I would say, if you really want to do something for that person, like you will do it. Yeah, you can say all you want about it until you actually like physically do it. Like if you want to say you guys want to talk stuff out, hash it out, whatever, take that time and talk to each other. Or if someone's talking about how they feel in a relationship or expressing themselves to you that normally don't, I would listen to that a little more
Mhm.
because it takes a lot for someone to actually like express how they like genuinely feel about somebody. So I mean, anytime like I would say your person or partner is talking to you, just keep that in mind because they're obviously I hope they don't share everything like that with everyone and then choose that like not covenant but like that safe space with you to communicate that with you.
Mhm. See, and that's I like that because I don't think people think about that. And I've thought about that a lot over the last few years. Is like if someone has the courage to share something deep like that, it's best to listen because I think too easily we can get defensive about stuff because we think that, oh, well, why would you say that? Why would you bring that up? But it's like, but if you shift your perception, like they're bringing that up because they feel safer, because they actually care about you, and the best you can do is listen and try to understand. So I like that.
Yeah, it's for everyone out there. It's a process for sure. Just
Yeah,
just know that. Pay
yeah,
heed.
yeah.
But yeah. So I'm gonna tweak the question a little bit now that I wrote it down. But if there was someone that you could have on your podcast, now I'm gonna say dead or alive, but not the best person of choice. Like let's say there was like a serial killer, or there's someone that like Adolf Hitler, or somebody that's wasn't a good person back then at all. Like who's somebody that I would say the world doesn't really look at positively, and who would you talk to?
Ooh, so if I could bring someone on my podcast
Like
that
if you could bring Kim
is
Jong-un to talk to you on your podcast,
okay,
like
so
somebody,
so we're talking kind of like misunderstood or villainous or something like that.
you're the guy in the prison talking to the serial killer and why he did it. Yeah, like that scenario.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Because sometimes it's a matter of perspective, right?
And like
Sometimes,
it could be somebody that you just want to like ask, like, why would you do this? Like, you know,
uh, interesting. Okay. I don't think I'd bring a serial killer onto the podcast for my safety.
well, I mean, like it's a controlled environment situation, but yes,
Yeah, but but like same thing is like, if they get out, I don't really need to
where's that guy from the 98%
yeah,
podcast?
where's the guy
Where
for
is
the
he?
98% podcast? He told everybody my secrets.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
told why
that's
I did
true.
it. They framed me, and now I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Um, hmm. I don't know. I think it would be fascinating in general to see someone's because the thing that happens a lot of times is history is viewed obviously through the winning team a lot of times. So a lot of times some people were doing right things or it seems like right things by their country, but it was wrong things to us or to someone else. So it's kind of hard to do that. So I would love to see certain perspectives of people. Like what were
Hmm.
you actually thinking? So I think um interesting. Okay, okay. This is taking forever. This is interesting. So, so because I've never actually thought about anything like this before. Um, so for some reason, I was thinking initially, I was thinking about like a Stalin or a Genghis Khan or something like that, just to kind of like, you did a whole lot of domination and like you like, but why? But I think where I started to go with this is then I was like, well, hold on a second. Um, it made me think biblical, and I'm kind of wanting to go down the biblical route now with that because I'm starting to think like I don't know. Like I had someone on episode one and they were talking about Lucifer and I thought that was fascinating. So it made me think like, what if like you could talk to, and I know that, I don't know, but just like, okay, so why did you decide to choose the path you chose? Or why did you fall from heaven? Why did, you know what I mean? Like just those
Yeah, yeah,
questions,
yeah.
like that would be fascinating for me because the guy I was talking to, his perspective was really interesting. So he's telling a story about Lucifer that he heard, and it was like, I don't know. And it just kind of made me think like, whoa, like what if it's, I don't know. I'd just be curious about, I guess, that perspective, I guess. And I guess that's kind of like the ultimate evil, I guess, if we're if we're going down that route.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is kind of interesting to think that I just went full blown, like, let's bypass all these evil people. Let's go to the source.
yeah. I mean, that's a great. I mean, uh, that'd be insane if that was like an actual thing that could happen.
Like you can actually talk like, hey, I actually really want to know why you decided to do what you did. Where did you
Yeah.
go wrong?
And my guest tonight is Lucifer.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to go that route either until my mind started flowing down there. Uh, yeah,
I mean,
interesting.
that's a that's an answer, and it's a valid answer for sure. I feel like there's a lot of people want to talk to that guy and be like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Yeah, exactly. Pun intended. Yeah. Okay, okay. Sweet. So was that the final question? That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that was my last one. Absolutely.
Dang. Okay, okay. I'm curious. So I want to ask you that question back because I'm curious who you would choose for that.
You know, I don't know why, but Pablo Escobar would be one of the people for sure,
Okay.
or Al Capone,
Yeah.
an old gangster. And I don't know, because I work in the union, and there's a lot of stuff that I have questions about, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's happening now or not, but shoot, I would like to ask him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a long list of people that I would definitely ask, and just why, like Jeffrey Dahmer, why are you eating people? What, you know,
Hmm.
or Genghis Khan was a good one.
Yeah, because
That was
at
a
one
good one.
point, like at one point, he dominated so much of the world, and I was just like,
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. Like, so why did you? I don't know. Like, why? Why? I don't even have to say anymore. Like, why did you decide to do that?
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
just because I could, and it's like, oh, there's got to be more. Tell me more. What was your childhood like? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, do you like your dad? Like,
You know,
what's
yeah,
your issue?
exactly. I made this big.
You weren't hugged a lot growing up, huh?
No, no, yeah, I made this empire to please my dad. Okay, okay, fair.
He's gone with it, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good.
Well, thanks for hopping on here. I love
Oh,
bringing people
always.
back, and this is I think it's a fun concept because I was trying to figure out how to bring people back, and
Yeah.
yeah, one day I kept having guest cancellations. I was like, I got to think of something, and then me and a buddy just kind of stumbled on like, why don't we do this? And I was like, that's brilliant. So, and then it puts the creativeness on the guest too, so you get to create stuff, and
hmm
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool little vibe.
Us in that
So.
work, like, I'm gonna hit Ricky with two good ones and then two like he's gonna have to think about them.
Yeah, those were good ones. Those were good ones. I might have to edit out all that pause because I think I paused. It took me like 2 or 3 minutes to even think of an answer for that one.
I was
Like
in my
any,
head, I was thinking like I'm gonna see a clip of this and it's gonna be Ricky just
just pondering. The question is, and I'm gonna have you say the question. It's just gonna be me for a minute of real just pondering. Yeah,
just a loading screen.
yeah. Loading. Dial up internet. Yeah,
You put that
yeah.
sound on there, I bet you people will know.
Yeah, they will.
With that dial-up sound? Yeah.
Or I'll cut all the timeouts so then it sounds like I've been waiting to say this question when it's just like, so who, Lucifer? Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Just
What? Jump straight to it. I've been wanting to ask that guy questions for a long time.
Yeah, 98% podcast talks about Lucifer. I don't know what's going on.
Dude, this is the second episode where we talk about it, so it's fascinating.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's just different perspective because there's people out there that don't believe in God or they believe in Satan. So I mean, it's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild
So,
for sure. Well, again, thank you for having you on, or thanks for hopping
always,
on.
man.
And yeah, dude, we need to definitely meet up sometime. We always say that, and we haven't met up yet, but we should
Yeah.
totally because we should try Highland Games. Are you gonna try one sometime?
I mean, I would be down. I I need to look. I need to watch more videos, but I'd definitely be down.
Dude,
That's
okay,
tight.
we gotta find one that's semi close to you this year because I have a feeling with your height and strength, I think you could do pretty well at quite a few of the events because the
Yeah.
height can help. Not for everything, but it can totally help for a lot of things. But you got those long limbs, you know?
Long limbs Lendway.
That's right, that's
Don't follow
right.
that Twitter account. That one got or that Instagram got hacked. That's not me. I don't know who that is.
Dude, I knew right away because then anytime I have a friend that starts talking about like crypto or whatever, I'm like, oh, they got hacked.
Yeah, I'm like, and anybody that knows me, I don't think I ever talk about my financial settings or anything like that. But definitely not crypto. I'm not a crypto guru by any means.
Yeah, it sucks that that happens. They hack your account and then I don't know. I don't even know what they're scamming people for. I guess just to like get them to purchase from them or what.
So
I don't
like,
know.
I had someone say like they wanted, or I got somebody asked me about voting for something, and they wanted to sign in to vote. You had to put your Instagram and your password. I'm like.
Oh, that's how they got you.
Oh no. I don't know
Oh,
how they
oh,
got me, but I'm saying like I've
oh,
had people message me saying like that's what my account's messaging them, and I'm like,
oh,
why would you
snap,
do that? And I had a buddy that was like, dude, I was gonna send you $500 because you said you're gonna quit your union job and doing security and all that. I'm like, dude, no, what? What are you talking about?
dude, dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, and I told him like, bro, call me. Like, don't. I don't think I'd ever ask you over Instagram to investing money or anything like that. I would physically come to you and talk to you if I was going to do that.
Dude, that's nuts, dude. So then, how did you get hacked then?
I
You
don't
don't
know.
even
I don't
know?
know if it's I don't even know. And I've reported it in the account. I think it's still up.
Yeah, interesting. See, I had an account hacked, but I knew exactly what I did because I made the mistake. I had someone that was a friend with me for a long time, or at least friends online, and he got me with the whole sympathy card. He was like, "Dude, my I got logged out of my account, and I need to send something to, and something about like I need to send like a password to your phone. Can you send that to me real quick?" And at first, I was like, "Dude, I don't feel good about it." And then after a while, I was like, "Dude, if this guy's really struggling." I should help the dude. And then what happened is I sent it to him and I saw myself get logged out of every single thing. And I was like, oh, snap. I should have listened to my gut. And yep.
I yeah. I think it was somebody that followed me because like that was the only person that followed the account of could say, hey, this is my teacher. So I followed that person. I like did a whole chain link and I found some account. No way. Like you click on that person's profile page, it's, there's just pictures of money that they probably don't have.
Dang.
And they posted a Wells Fargo bank account thing. I do have Wells Fargo, but I don't have $150,000 in my savings
Hmm.
and 40,000 in my checking just sitting there.
Yep.
So, and they posted that on my story and I had people hitting me up asking me what I'm doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? 100 what?
Yeah, because I think I
And
messaged you too, didn't I? And said like I think you got hacked or something. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I literally messaged people. I'm like, what? Why would I post on my story my bank account? Just not that
Does it
guy.
make sense?
Yeah, no. What?
That's funny. Well, at least you got some other accounts you can invest in, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I got those all certified, so don't have to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah, that's wild.
No.
Well, cool, man. Well, until next time.
No, for sure, man. I'll be back in end of July for a bachelor trip, but I'll be back in September, like September 13th. So I don't know if you got something going on, if you want to get a lift in or find some
Dude, yeah,
time.
let's do it. Yeah, September, you say 13th?
September 13th, I believe, is the wedding, and I'll probably drive down there probably Thursday.
Sweet. Yeah, I should be able to. I work during the day, so it'll be like like late afternoon, early evening workout or
That
something like
works.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
Where do you go?
I go to
You a gym you go
Crunch,
to? Okay.
so I get
I've been to a Crunch out here, so
yeah, I get a free guest in every time, so free. And we'll lift some heavy weights together.
for sure. I'm definitely
Sounds
down,
sick.
man. Well,
Cool,
Ricky, it was
man.
good talking to you, man. Keep doing
Same.
great. Keep killing it with the podcast, man.
Dude, you keep doing the same. Not with the podcast, you don't have one, but keep killing it.
Right. We might. No, I was kidding. All right, Ricky.